Welcome back to another deep dive into the fascinating world of finance. This is number 5 in our series.
5 already.
Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun with numbers, right?
Absolutely.
So far, we've tackled profit and loss, wrestled with cash flow.
Decoded the mysteries of break-even analysis.
But today, we're brewing up something even more exciting.
Investment.
Ah, yes. The lifeblood of any thriving business, wouldn't you say?
It truly is. And it's not just about throwing money around.
Right. It's about making strategic decisions.
Smart decisions that fuel growth and pave the way to long-term success.
Exactly. And to illustrate this in the real world, we're going to be joining our fictional friends over at BrewBliss.
Our favorite coffee shop.
Yes. They've got a challenge on their hands.
Figuring out the best way to use some new capital they've got.
A classic dilemma.
A shiny new espresso machine.
Ooh.
Versus investing in some serious barista training.
Okay, but before we jump into BrewBliss's situation, let's lay some groundwork.
Right. Back to basics.
When we talk about investment, what are we really talking about?
More to it than just spending money, right?
Yeah, it can't just be about going on a spending spree.
Definitely not. Think of it like planting seeds in your business garden.
Ooh, I like that.
You're carefully choosing where to put your resources, time, money, effort to cultivate something bigger and better down the line.
So strategically using resources for future growth. But it's not always just cash, is it?
No.
We've got that fancy term, human capital.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Human capital, it's all about your people. Their skills, knowledge, and potential. Investing in them might mean sending your team to workshops, offering professional development courses, or even just fostering a culture of continuous learning.
So for BrewBliss, that'd be like sending their baristas to a latte art masterclass instead of, buying that fancy new machine.
Exactly. Recognizing that sometimes investing in your team can yield even greater returns than investing in equipment or technology.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all goes beyond just, dollars and cents. But let's be real for a second.
Okay.
Those dollars and cents, they do matter. So why is investment so crucial for a business's bottom line?
Well, think of it this way. Investment is the engine that drives growth. It allows businesses to expand, to innovate,
And ultimately,
generate more revenue.
back to BrewBliss. How could investing play out in their situation?
Well, that new espresso machine they're considering could mean serving way more customers every hour, increasing their output, potentially their profits. Or imagine this, their baristas become latte art masters, drawing in crowds with Instagram-worthy creations.
Free marketing.
Exactly, and a boost to their brand image.
It's like investing in a marketing team that also makes the product, okay? I see the potential here. I really do. But how do we actually measure if these investments are paying off? That's where ROI comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Return on investment, ROI, the key metric for evaluating an investment success, tells you how much bang you're getting for your buck.
And according to my trusty GCSE Business Studies notes, the formula is pretty simple. Profit from investment = cost of investment by 100. So if BrewBliss invests £5,000 in a marketing campaign and sees an extra £2,000 in profit, their ROI would be 40%.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Pretty good, right?
But here's where things get a bit more interesting. Investment always comes with a degree of risk.
Oh, the dreaded R word. What kind of risks they're talking about? Does it get scary?
It doesn't have to be scary, but it is something to be mindful of. One of the big ones is that upfront cost. That state-of-the-art espresso machine BrewBliss is eyeing, going to come with a hefty price tag, could strain their cash flow, especially in the short term.
So even if the ROI looks good on paper, they need to be sure they can handle that initial hit to their budget. What else?
Well, there's always the uncertainty factor. Even the best-laid plans can go awry. What if that marketing campaign flops? Or the new espresso machine breaks down constantly? You can never fully eliminate uncertainty, but you can mitigate it by, doing your research, carefully evaluating potential risks.
So it's a bit of a gamble then.
In a way, yeah. You're weighing the potential rewards against the inherent risks. And sometimes the smartest move is to hold back, gather more information, and wait for a better opportunity.
Okay, so it's more than just plugging numbers into a formula, right? There's a real art to making smart investment decisions. But let's get back to BrewBliss. They've got that £10,000 ready to invest, and they're torn, right? New coffee machine or a staff training program. What are the expected outcomes for each?
Well, the new coffee machine is projected to boost their customer capacity by a pretty impressive 20% per day. More customers, more coffee, more money, at least in theory.
Sounds pretty good to me. But what about the staff training? Where does that fit in?
Think about it this way. Happy, well-trained baristas, they create happy, loyal customers. Customers who come back for more than just the caffeine hit. They come back for the experience, the friendly service, the perfectly crafted latte art, and that kind of loyalty, it's invaluable.
So we've got two very different approaches here, both with the potential for serious returns. How do we even start to compare them?
Well, that's where things get interesting. According to our sources, BrewBliss expects an annual profit of £4,000 from this investment, regardless of which way they go.
Okay, so let's crunch those numbers. If they invest £10,000 and expect a £4,000 profit, that gives us an ROI of, wait for it, 40%.
It's the same.
Identical ROI for both the machine and the training. How's that possible?
That's exactly the point. On paper, they look equally attractive. But as we've been saying, ROI is only one piece of the puzzle. We need to factor in those risks we talked about and consider, which option aligns better with their overall business goals.
This is getting tricky.
It is.
If it were my money, I'd be leaning towards that new coffee machine. More customers, more efficiency, what's not to love?
But don't underestimate the power of a really well-trained team. Think about it. They can create that atmosphere that keeps customers coming, recommending BrewBliss to their friends, becoming like walking advertisements for the brand.
Right.
That's the kind of intangible value that's hard to put a number on, but incredibly powerful.
You've got me thinking. Maybe I was a bit too quick to dismiss the human element here. But how can BrewBliss possibly choose between two options that have the same ROI but are so different?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And that's exactly what we'll be exploring in the next part of this deep dive. I think it all comes down to, strategic alignment. BrewBliss needs to ask themselves, what kind of coffee shop do they want to be? What's their unique selling proposition?
Okay, so if they're all about speed and efficiency, churning out those lattes as quickly as possible, then the machine makes sense.
Yeah. But what if they're going for something a bit more, personalized, a more community-driven experience?
Right.
A place where customers kind of linger,
Yeah.
chat with the baristas, feel like they're part of something a bit special.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
The staff training could really help cultivate that kind of atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Turn those baristas into brand ambassadors who really connect with those customers.
Exactly. It's about investing in, the human touch, creating an experience that goes beyond just the transaction. And that can lead to increased customer loyalty, positive word-of-mouth marketing, and ultimately higher profits in the long run.
But wouldn't that take longer to see those returns?
Yeah.
That new machine that could boost their capacity, immediately.
That's true. You often have a trade-off between short-term gains and long-term sustainability.
Yeah.
It's like, choosing between a quick sugar rush and a nourishing meal.
Okay.
The sugar rush gives you instant energy, but the nourishing meal sustains you for much longer.
Okay, interesting analogy. So the machine is like the sugar rush, a quick boost to their output, but maybe not a sustainable solution for long-term growth.
Precisely. And the staff training is like that nourishing meal, It takes time to digest and see the full benefits, but ultimately leads to a healthier, more resilient business.
This is making my head spin.
That's a lot to think about.
It is. How can they possibly weigh all these factors and make the right decision?
There's no magic formula, unfortunately. It comes down to careful analysis, a deep understanding of their business, their market, and, a bit of gut instinct.
So what would that analysis look like? Practically speaking, what kind of questions should BrewBliss be asking themselves?
Well, they need to look at their current financial situation. Can they afford to take on more debt if they need a loan to cover this investment? What are the projected cash flows for the next few years? Do they have, enough wiggle room to handle any potential setbacks or unexpected expenses?
Right. They can't just focus on the potential upside. They've got to assess that downside risk as well.
Exactly. And they need to think about their long-term goals. Do they want to expand to multiple locations, focus on building a strong online presence, become known for, their exceptional customer service?
It's like choosing the right tools for the job.
Exactly. The new coffee machine might be the right tool if their goal is to maximize efficiency and increase output. But if they're all about creating a unique and memorable customer experience, well, investing in that staff training might be the smarter move.
This is making me realize that investment is so much more than just like crunching numbers.
Yeah.
It's about vision,
Strategy.
making choices that support the, long-term health and growth of the business.
Absolutely. You're getting it. It's about understanding that every investment decision, it has ripple effects throughout the entire business.
So what are some key takeaways for our listeners? Those who might be facing similar investment dilemmas in their own businesses.
Well, I'd say first and foremost, don't fixate solely on ROI. It's an important metric, don't get me wrong, but it's not the be-all and end-all.
Right, it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. Secondly, think about that strategic fit. Does the investment align with, your overall business goals and your vision for the future?
Don't just invest in, some fancy new gadget just because it's shiny and new.
Yeah.
Make sure it serves a purpose and it actually helps you achieve your objectives.
Absolutely. And finally, don't be afraid to seek out expert advice. Talk to financial advisors, mentors, other entrepreneurs who've been there, done that.
Yeah, they can provide some really valuable insights.
Yeah.
Help you avoid those costly mistakes.
Ah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about the different types of investments, the importance of, ROI and risk assessment, and how to align investment decisions with your overall business strategy.
We even delved into that complex decision facing BrewBliss,
Yes.
whether to invest in the new coffee machine or the staff training program.
But ultimately, the decision is theirs to make. They're the ones who know their business best, their customers, their market, and their long-term aspirations. What do you think our listeners would choose if they were in BrewBliss's shoes? It's a tough call, isn't it? It really is. Both options have their own merits, but maybe that's the beauty of investment.
Yeah.
It's about making strategic choices that shape the future of your business, taking those calculated risks and reaping the rewards.
And sometimes it's about trusting your gut and going with what feels right.
Well said. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of investment, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. Which type of investment do you think is more important for long-term success? Capital investment or human capital investment?
It's a question that has no easy answer, that's for sure. But by, carefully considering the factors we've discussed today, you can make those informed decisions that set your business up for a bright and prosperous future.
Yeah.
And you know what? It might not even have to be in either situation.
Might not.
In reality, most businesses, those that are really successful,
Right.
they invest in both capital and human capital.
They do. Think about it. That shiny new coffee machine.
It's not going to run itself.
It's not.
You need those skilled baristas, those that know how to use it, maintain it.
Create those incredible coffee experiences.
Exactly. And even the, most talented baristas in the world, they're kind of limited if they're working with outdated equipment or, processes that just aren't efficient.
Right.
So it's like this symbiotic relationship almost.
Yeah, it is.
Capital investment. Human capital investment.
Working together
Hand in hand.
to drive growth, efficiency, and ultimately profitability.
Absolutely.
So whoever's out there running a business or thinking about starting one, don't get caught up in thinking you have to choose one over the other.
You don't.
Look at BrewBliss. They could maybe get a loan, to cover both the new machine and the staff training.
They could. That's a really good point. Combining both types of investment could create some powerful synergy there, maximizing their chances of success.
Of course, taking on more debt, you've got to carefully analyze the situation, make sure they can handle those loan repayments.
Risk and reward, it's all about balance. But sometimes, taking those calculated risks,
Yeah,
it leads to the biggest rewards.
absolutely. So the takeaway here is that investment, it's multifaceted, it's dynamic.
It really is.
More than just number crunching and ROI chasing.
So much more.
It's about understanding your business,
Your market,
your goals,
long-term goals,
making strategic choices that align with your vision.
and set you up for sustainable success.
And perhaps most importantly, investing in both your, physical assets and your most valuable asset, your people.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as you navigate your own business journey,
Yeah.
just remember, smart investment, key ingredient in that recipe for success.
Take the time to, really analyze those options.
Weigh the risks and rewards.
Don't be afraid to ask for expert advice when you need it.
Definitely not.
And never stop learning. This world of business, it's constantly evolving.
It really is.
Stay curious, stay informed, stay ahead of the curve.
Absolutely. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of investment. We hope you found it informative, maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Remember, knowledge is power. And investing in your own understanding of, these key financial concepts,
Definitely key.
it can set you up for a brighter, more prosperous future.
It really can.
Until next time, keep those brains buzzing and those entrepreneurial spirits soaring. This deep dive was a PLC Strategy production.
Powered by Google Notebook LM.